All right, hello everybody and welcome to the Agent Mastermind class. I am Paul Baxter. I'm going to be your host for today. As you can tell, our good friend Scotty Hudspeth is not with us today. He's got a live presentation down here in sunny Florida that he's going to be doing, and he wanted to make sure I told you guys he misses every one of you and he can't wait to be back here to see everybody again next Tuesday. But for today, I have the distinct honor of having a couple of what I consider to be the social media queens of the industry, and I followed these two ladies for quite a while. I've got Jessica Peterson and Rebecca Radis on the call with us today. Ladies, how are you?
Doing terrific. How are you?
You know, we talked about weather for a brief moment. It is another sunny day in paradise. I can't complain. And, you know, with social media stuff specifically, I think it's such an important part of all of our businesses, the real estate business, the mortgage business, the insurance business, title. All of us can be doing a lot of things with social media. And so I love it when I get an opportunity to listen to you and Jessica, because your insight with social media is just so deep, and it's not that it's outside the box. It's just a different way of thinking about how to generate business using social media.
Absolutely. There is so much opportunity, and we're really excited to talk about what the 2014 landscape looks like and how much there is to truly take advantage of.
and that's a big part of it, is how much there is and how to manage it appropriately. So guys, girls, I know is a great class. I know you didn't come here to hear me talk. We want to learn about what Rebecca and Jessica have to say. So I'm going to kind of shut myself off here a little bit. And Rebecca, if you guys are ready to go, take it away, and I'll kind of stay in the background. Guys, girls, go ahead and post your questions if you have them. We are going to have a little bit of opportunity at the end of the presentation today to take some open Q&A questions. So as you get the question, go ahead and post those to us. I highly recommend that you close your doors, turn those cell phones off, because the information you're about to learn today is something that you can take with you into the next year and really build your business plan accordingly.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. And, you know, Jessica, I'll let you kick it off if you've got internet there in Belize.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca and Paul. Wow, what a huge honor to be back this year. Amazing people in this group. And I have to apologize up front. I am presenting here in Belize. I am so grateful for a RE/MAX office to let me utilize their office space to go ahead and present. So as Rebecca mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. I look forward to your questions, and Rebecca will take over halfway in between. We're so excited, and Rebecca and I teamed up, and we started ImagineSocialWow.com together. You know, we're all about imagine, you know, a better way to do social media. And we like to kick off and say, imagine, know where to spend your time. You know, some of you listening today may know where to spend your time on social media. Some of you may not. We also like to say, stop wasting hours in your day. It's so amazing. People say, I imagine if I didn't have to spend hours, which you shouldn't be spending hours and hours a day. You know, imagine what you could be doing with your time. Rebecca, I mean, what have you heard as far as wasting time and hours in a day?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think the biggest challenge is a lack of focus because of a lack of strategy. So bouncing onto Facebook first thing in the morning, and Twitter, with no real defined goals, and before you know it, you've gotten sucked into that kind of mindless liking, commenting, sharing. Falling down that rabbit hole of social media, you've wasted an hour, you've wondered where your time has gone, and none of it has been productive. So really, I think the imagine part is a lot to fix that within your business, to help you figure out how to truly harness the power of social media And not just that, but monetize social media. We talk so much about the ROI of social, and we're going to dive into that today. And our goal is to really help you build out a social media business plan that gives you that clarity, that focus, and helps you utilize social media to drive your business forward in 2014.
Absolutely, and I hear from people, I can only imagine the more time I'd have volunteering or golfing or spending time with my family. So it's important. We want people to imagine. I've been there. I've been in the banking industry since the 90s, as some of you may be aware of, and I've spent years and years and unbelievable amount of hours on social media. And it still is always a learning process, but I've got it fine-tuned down to a science, and it's pretty exciting. And one of my favorite is gain new connections by expanding your reach. That's absolutely, one of my favorites. I've met amazing people through social media, and I get so excited every day of the new connections. And there's a fabulous real estate agent out there, as he once mentioned, and I did a blog on him. When your 2 feet hit the floor in the morning, whose lives can you impact or change for that day? So it's pretty exciting. And I see here it says who we are. So as briefly mentioned, co-founder of Customer Wow Project and the Imagine Wow, Rebecca and I got asked to be part of a big agency called Imagine Wow to serve national clients. And I know Rebecca has been a rock star and amazing and heading up Better Homes and Gardens real estate marketing nationally. And then I've had the honor to help lenders, real estate agents, I have clients all around the world and promoting and marketing their real estate with great success through social media, as you have as well, Rebecca. And I'm just so grateful to know Rebecca. Anybody listening today, I highly recommend you connect with her. My favorite channel is Facebook, but I know she's on definitely quite a few different channels. And do you have anything to add, Rebecca?
No, just very excited for this partnership. I think there is just so much that we're going to be able to provide with our insight. I've been 17 years now in the mortgage and real estate industries. So we have that very defined focus, really understand what the day-to-day challenges are surrounding social media and creating that online presence. We know that, as real estate professionals, you're out. You're either on listing appointments, you're meeting with buyers, you're busy, and you're in the car. You're not necessarily sitting in front of your computer. So again, our goal is really to give you those tools, those strategies that you can easily implement into your day-to-day, not those overwhelming strategies that I think a lot of people identify with social media, because really social media doesn't have to be hard. As Jessica said at the beginning, there is a better way to do social media, and that's our goal, to provide that roadmap to you today.
You said it perfect. Thank you. Okay, so why it's a must. Majority of you probably already know it is a must, but just in case you don't, here's some fun statistics. Consumers are online. 97% of consumers search for local businesses online. And just to share a quick story, I know of a real estate agent. I sent out some referrals to him, and the next thing you know, I followed up with my friends, and they said, even though you recommended this agent so highly, we went ahead and did some research, and there wasn't anything really positive out there, although he's been practicing for decades, but there was one small negative, so we didn't go with him. So, people are going to be researching you before they definitely do business with you. And consumers are social. 72% of adult internet users are active on at least one social network, and we'll get into that a little bit more. And it makes sense. We're in a generation that people want to research, and they actually do want those relationships. So relationships are still important today in this generation. It's just a little bit different level. It's not like you can go to your local coffee shop as often and get to know as many people. So getting social, the power behind social media. So first of all, it's awareness. Stay top of mind. When I am in Facebook and I see some of my favorite people posting on a regular basis, they're always on top of my mind. It's amazing how often I even think of them throughout the day or the week. about their post or what they're up to. So it's definitely a way to be, top of mind awareness. And so when you're thinking about getting social, keep that in mind. And then visibility, increase likability and credibility. Those two go together. It has been so amazing to me how people reach out and say, we've been watching you for years on social media, and here we want you to, take over. Oh, what's the most extreme? Someone wanted me to help take over all their assets and properties, and I said, I can't do that, but I'll connect you with an attorney who can. But they said it's just from watching on social media and building that credibility and that visibility. So it's definitely a place to build influence, remain in people's consciousness, and I'm sure you have some stories to share with us too, Rebecca, about this.
It really does have that amazing ability to take who you are, so what you do on a day-to-day basis, what you're passionate about, what excites you, and be able to translate that in a very real and authentic way. And I think we talk about authenticity a lot. That word has been thrown around a lot in the social space, but it's still very relevant. And even more so, I think, within the real estate and lending industries, for the simple fact of all that goes on in the news on a day-to-day basis. So we really have the power to use social media to give people special insight into who we are. Like I said, what we truly care about. That could be what we're, spending our time on the weekends doing, if we're out at the park, whatever it might be that we're spending time doing with our family, or, what other hobbies are, our likes, our interests. So giving people insight into who we are after those business hours. And that truly does create those meaningful connections. Gives you the chance to go deeper with relationships that you might have established years ago. And now you've transitioned those from the offline world into the online world, and you're able to stay top of mind, keep in front of people. So really think about your social media in that perspective. How can you allow people to relate to you in a very real way? What special insight can you give them? What can you share that will be valuable, unique to you, obviously, but extremely valuable to them as they get to know you a whole lot better?
Absolutely, and I know this wasn't in the plan, but I just want to interject a little bit. The title here, Getting Social, so often people ask, I want to make front page of Google, I want to be found, I want to be in the search engines, which is great. And some of you may have heard that Google changed that algorithm to the hummingbird, and it's all about being social. So you definitely want to be out there interacting with people, and we'll get more into that. So it's something just to really keep in mind as you are creating your plan for next year. Really think about, how can I be social, interact with people, build credibility, be top of mind to people. So the next aspect of this is take control. So you need to stay consistent. It has been mind-blowing to me when I talk to consumers. They'll say, I went on Facebook, and one person even said, I even went on there to see if Target has been posting. And if they're not posting lately, then that shows they're not serious about us consumers, and I won't shop there. You would be amazed what consumers think. And if they don't see you being consistent on, with good, valuable content, it actually has that trust factor not really be strong or built there. And it's also about staying current on all the market trends and technology. So as you're building out your plan, think, 1, am I being consistent? 2, am I staying current on all the market trends? People want to do business with someone who's not only consistent, but also on top of all the latest trends. And then also stay relevant. You definitely want to have information, and we'll go into that further, that's for your ideal consumer or person to do business with, develop a relationship with, or do a transaction with. You definitely want to have content that's going to be relevant to them. So the top 5 in understanding your options. Okay, so this is the top 5 right now that we have found. 1 is Twitter. Some of you may be utilizing it or not. It's basically a micro-blogging. You know, I know Rebecca and I have definitely generated business through Twitter. With my lending background, I have obtained home loans through Twitter. Some people may prefer Google+. I know that this is Rebecca's absolute favorite, and it's huge right now in the search engines. It's mind-blowing. I created one post in Google+ for someone, and I made front page for them in a week, and it was a friend of mine, and I said, I was just trying to give you a shout out. I wasn't trying to dominate front page of Google, and we were laughing how fast and effective it was. So Google Plus is definitely, you know, on there. It should definitely be in your top 5 list. YouTube is very cost effective. It's a cheap form of advertising. A lot of people who are visual prefer that, to go in there, connect with you, get to know you. And then LinkedIn, it's basically an online resume. I have a client who has a brewery, and they were shocked how people say, hey, before we come in here and drink a beer at your brewery, we wanted to go to LinkedIn and, you know, just kind of check you out and see the history about you. So you never know what someone's favorite channel is. And of course, my favorite to top it off is going to be Facebook, because it's all about strong communication, relationships, and taking an interest in people, which, as you see here, is definitely the powerhouse. It's where majority of people are, with over 1 billion active. Phenomenal place. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I have the honor of working with some of the richest real estate in the world overseas. And, you know, within a short period, we had several buyers come through Facebook with a whole effective marketing campaign. So as you're building out your plan, you know, for all of the listeners here, please keep in mind that these are the top 5 that you should be spending your time and energy on for 2014. And things are always going to change. And, you know, and Rebecca and I, we always, you know, research and stay on top of it. But as of today, this should be definitely your top 5. And do you have anything to add to this, Rebecca?
Yeah, you know, I'll just tag that with some of the top questions I get when it comes to which social network should I be on? Where should I be placing my focus? We are certainly not advocating that you hop on all 5 of these social networks. In fact, I truly believe that's a recipe for disaster. My goal is always to help you figure out where your time is best spent. So where are buyers, where are potential sellers, where are they spending their time? Maybe it's just one social network, maybe it's Facebook. That's where the majority of your time and energy should be put. But as you think through what are the pillars of your marketing strategy, what are the pillars of your social media strategy, each of these 5 that we have chosen have a very different role in your social media. You're going to use them obviously in different ways, and they have very different communities, very different people that are interacting and engaging with you on that network. And Jessica made a great point. You never want to assume that everybody enjoys getting their information, their news from the same location. So diversity is good, but I also want to really caution that if you're just getting started, baby steps are always best. Figure out one network. If it's Facebook, master that. Figure out where your consumer is hanging out. Figure out how to connect with them. Get engaged, get involved in the conversation, and then move on to the next. Don't feel as if you need to be everywhere or everything to everybody. So just, you know, put that little thought in the back of your head that you don't have to hop off this call and figure out how to integrate Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, all of them into your social media marketing plan. While they do have incredible value within their own right, LinkedIn, if you're a recruiter, super important for you to be on LinkedIn. Google+, an incredible place for you to interact with other industry professionals across the country. Twitter is a phenomenal support in that you're able to tweet and get your message out in front of a whole new group of people. So like I said, they all have their own individual reasons, I guess, for existing within your social media business plan. But I'm giving you the okay right now to not run out and try to be on every single one. It's just, I've seen it time and again where, you know, realtors or lenders alike, we're that type A personality. We want to dig in, we want to do it all, and you just can't manage it. It's just not possible. So think about how much time do you actually have, where is your time going to be best spent, and how can you connect with those people? And Jessica's going to talk a little bit further about that.
And thank you, Rebecca, for bringing that out. Rebecca and I right now, we're so excited to assist professionals in the lending real estate world and building out their plan and saying, okay, for the first 3 months, we're going to sit down and focus attention on this social media channel, and then the next 3 months, the next, until you really master it and have everything down. So thank you for definitely bringing that out. So this is one of my favorite parts on beginning stages, the 6 key ingredients to a successful strategy. So number 1, define your goals. Who do you want to reach? What do you want to reach out to them? Where are they? And when? That's really, really important. And number 2 is research. So research your audience and social networks. Sometimes it's pretty mind-blowing when the ideal time. I've seen times all over the board. I'm sure you have too, Rebecca, when we sit down with clients and we look, you know, it may be at noon, it may be on Mondays or Thursdays, or it may be in the evening. Take the time to do that research, because you don't want to be posting when your ideal audience is not even on the social media channels. And as far as defining the goals, I kind of want to go in a little bit further detail on this. I have some clients who say, you know, we have enough business, we just want to maintain the relationships and let our current clients know that we are there and available for them, which is fabulous. Some people say, I want more business. Well, great. That is one of your goals. You know, some people say, we just need to have a really good image because that's important to us. Well, let's create a whole good image online so when people do search for your company name. So those are some of my favorite parts, is defining the goals and the research. And I know, Rebecca, you are the queen of content. You're amazing at this. So what content do you have that people actually want? And you don't always have to create the content on your own, although it is wise to create some on your own for your social media plan. But it's always good to go out there and create those business relationships with some power partners and, you know, make them feel good, make them look good. Number 4, get involved. You must engage with people. And so if you do happen to get a bad review or a bad comment, you know, get involved and communicate with them. I have sat down with some big firms and they say, you know, we have all these great comments and then we have, you know, this negativity. Well, acknowledge them. Say you'll look into it. Get involved. That's really important. And if you can, get face-to-face for those more meaningful relationships. This doesn't apply to all of the big companies that we service, but for the smaller companies, it is important to go ahead and get face-to-face with people. And number 6, of course, track and measure. This is a must-do of your social strategy for 2014. It is mind-blowing how many people I talk to say, we're not tracking, we're not measuring where business comes from. Well, this is really important, you know, for you as you go ahead and build your strategy for 2014, because you know, time is valuable. We don't get today back, and, you know, we're thankful for each of you taking this hour out to listen to us. And, you know, time is so valuable, so you want to be best utilizing that. And Rebecca, do you have anything to add on these top 6 key ingredients as people are writing out their strategy?
Well, the track and measure is critical simply because that's where the frustration sets in. You don't know exactly when you're posting, what you're posting, who you're reaching, and all of a sudden you start to question, is it even worth your time? Should you be spending, you know, the 30 minutes or the hour a day, whatever it is you've committed to your social media. So tracking and measuring, understanding what time is the best time to get that content in front of your fans or your followers. In knowing exactly what kind of content they're looking for. And how do you know that? Well, it's because you're changing up. You're changing up that content that you're putting out there. You're changing up maybe the voice or the tone behind it to figure out what's resonating with those people that are following you across your multiple different social media channels. So tracking and measuring may feel like the boring piece of social media, but it's just critical, in my opinion, that you understand not only where you want to go, so where you're heading, but how you're going to get there. So putting that plan in place and then having those measurable steps in place as well, where you can take a step back and say, boy, I don't know that this really played out as well as I had hoped it would. It wasn't received the way I expected it to. However, this content over here that I didn't think was going to do that well really took off. You know, I got a ton of retweets, or I got a lot of shares on Facebook, or I gained quite a few new fans on Facebook. Whatever those goals are, as Jessica was talking about, that you're tracking or you're working towards, really think through how you're going to analyze those, measure those, and then adjust your strategy, because social media, as we know, it is very fluid. It's always changing. Something, you know, on Facebook is changing. Google Plus just made a bunch of changes. So you do have to be very adept at paying attention to what you're doing, and then very agile in being able to quickly adjust your strategy. So don't be afraid to get out there, change things up. If something isn't working, give yourself the freedom to adjust and really get inside that head of your consumer, understand what their needs are, and keep giving that to them over and over and over again.
That's great advice. And one thing I want to add on the track and measure, you know, you can only track and measure so much. But something to keep in mind, if someone was to come into your business, they're not going to say, hey, I went ahead and Googled you, or, you know, I researched you. Most of the time they're not going to say that. So part of that tracking and measuring is do keep track of what does show up in your name or your company name, and make sure it is information that you want people to be seeing. So that can be a part of your track and measure. Because again, as we mentioned earlier, so often, so many of us, I do personally, you know, go in there and research and Google people on a regular basis, or companies on a regular basis. Okay, so diving in, the key questions to ask before you begin. I always love this sign with the who, what, where, when, why, how. So who are you trying to reach? This is really, really important. And, you know, if you don't know, that's okay. Don't feel bad. We have a lot of clients who don't know who they're trying to reach. So it's time to sit down and write this out. Who am I trying to reach? And you want to sometimes get really specific. You know, are you trying to work with people who like to golf or like to travel, or, you know, you got to really think about this. And then what makes you unique? What makes you so special? And if you're not sure, ask around with your top favorite clientele, and ask them, you know, what makes you so unique? And where will you find your potential customers? Take the time to research, where are your potential customers hanging out? Where are they for you to go ahead and reach them? When will you post content? We talked about that. Very important. And we do have systems in place, you know, as Rebecca and I coach our clients on how to look up when to post content. You want to make sure that your ideal clients are seeing your information. And then really think about, why are you using social media? Some people have said, I really don't know why, I just hear I need to be using it. Well, you've got to really think about, why are you using it? What's your clear goals, as we mentioned earlier? Do you just want to be that top of mind awareness? Do you want to take care of your current customers? Do you want to obtain new customers? I mean, I have real estate agents who say, I just want to maintain and keep those relationships with my current customers. You know, you got to really think about, why are you using it? So how will you connect with the right customers? Think about this. How are you going to connect with them? Is it going to be just giving a shout out about how great and awesome your company is? Probably not. So you got to really think about, in that plan, how are you going to connect with them? How are you going to develop that relationship or build their trust, or have them want to do business with you? And then as far as, you know, the steps and going into further detail, I'm going to have Rebecca go ahead and take over. She's amazing at this. So Rebecca, I'm going to have you go ahead and take over with step 1.
All right, this is where it gets exciting to me, where we kind of dive in and really build out. We're going to build out your plan. So the first step is your launch, and so much of that is what we've already talked about. It's identifying what social networks you're going to use to support and promote your business. So figuring out if Facebook is it, if Google Plus is it, if Twitter, whatever the case might be, determine what those social networks are, and then what is your tactical approach going to be in your use of those social networks. As I mentioned, there are very unique ways that we can use each of these social networks. So it may be that you're looking to recruit agents within your local market. Then LinkedIn is definitely going to be somewhere you want to spend your time. You want to spend your time not only building out a really strong bio and profile, explaining who you are, what the benefit of working with you is, what the benefit of your maybe your team structure or your office, whatever it is that differentiates you and your office, you really want to spend some time building that out. So what are your tactics? What steps are you going to take when utilizing each of these social networks? And what's your main objective? So we've talked a lot about goals, but you actually need to spell out different goals for each of these social networks. So whether it's increasing your visibility, whether it's gaining leads, maybe it's driving traffic to your website, write each of those down. Write your top 3 to 5 goals for each of your social networks. And then determine what your short and your long-term focus is going to be. So where are you going to place your focus? What are you going to be working towards on a day-to-day basis? And then finally, what are your desired results? So what, at the end of the day, what is that big, hairy, audacious goal that you are trying to achieve by putting yourself and your business out there on social media? So whatever those are, write all of those down, because those are going to really start to define not only that who, what, when, and where, but the motivation behind your social media efforts every single day. Differentiation, we've talked a little bit about this, but you know, obviously social media is so crowded, so noisy these days. The only way you can truly stand out from the crowd, differentiate yourself from your competition, is to define what makes you unique. So I know we throw this word around, USP, within our industry an awful lot, but what is your unique selling proposition? What is it about you that sets you apart and makes you special? And then from there, determine where's that content that you're going to be sharing on a daily basis, where's that going to be coming from? Think about this. As we coach individuals on social media and networking and interacting. Obviously, so much of the foundation of social media is the type of content that you share, and people get a little wound tight when they have to think about, oh my gosh, you know, where's that content going to come from? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to share? Well, I would be willing to bet you have oodles of content all over the internet that you have created, your company has created, marketing materials that you've created throughout the years. So think about anything from your emails to your newsletters to an online content such as a blog. It could be content that's 2 years old, but hey, it might still be relevant today. you could certainly repurpose that. So content, you're really going to start to think through, what can you give away for free? How much of that can you give away on a daily, a weekly basis without it feeling overwhelming to you to keep up with it? And then making sure that you're taking all of that content that's very unique to you, that really speaks to who you are, and getting that into your bios, your profiles, completing those as best you can. It's not only important that as buyers and sellers land on your social media properties that they get a very clear picture of who you are, but it's also very important to search engines. You know, utilizing those keywords, those words that consumers are using when they're searching. You know, maybe I'm in the LA area, so keywords could be, you know, buy a home in Los Angeles, California. Obviously, that's going to be a pretty big search, so you're going to want to narrow that down a little bit, but you're going to want to make sure that you talk about your local area, what your specific skills are, who those clients are that you're really passionate about serving, and being very, very clear in all of that. Because like I said, it's not only important to those people that are landing on your social networks, but also important to the search engines, so you give them a very clear idea of who you are and what you're all about. And then last, as you're differentiating, is really customizing your look and feel. I talk a lot about personal branding and how important it truly is, especially in the online world. But knowing who you are in content and then translating that into your look. So maybe figuring out what your colors are. If you're not using any specific brand colors, what colors are unique to you? What identify you? Maybe you are very partial to red or to blue, whatever it might be. You want to get consistent in not only your content, so your message, but also in that look and feel, like I said. So whether it's graphics, whether it's your landing pages, your website, your blog, determining exactly what that look is for you, and then making sure that that is in every single location you're spending your time online. Marketing funnel, I'm just going to touch on this real quick. Obviously, social media is a big part of your marketing funnel, so creating your capture system, knowing exactly how you're going to capture those social media leads is incredibly important. So step one, lead generation. How are you going to use social media to generate those leads? Step two, lead qualification. So having steps in place that you can quickly and easily reach out to these people, you can quickly and easily answer their questions, and then qualify where they are in the buying or selling process. Is this something they're looking to do within 30 days, 90 days, maybe the next year, and knowing how you're going to manage that lead. Step three then is lead conversion. So where are you sending them? What kind of content are you going to get in front of them, make available to them, giving them reasons to either want to opt in or to connect with you on additional social networks. What is that content going to be? And then step four is the lead maintenance. So making sure you have that system in place to stay top of mind, keep relevant information in front of those leads. As we all know, social media is not a one-way street. We're not out there with a bullhorn just pushing out our message. You want to make sure that you've got that communication going. So however you want to maintain that relationship, you need to know this up front. So really start to think through, what are your goals? How will you stay in front of people? And then how are you going to maintain that communication? So again, I go back to that word overwhelm, because we want to pull that out of the equation when it comes to social media. You really want to figure out how you can maintain that conversation without it feeling as if you're juggling a million balls in the air on a daily basis. Step two is management, and this is probably one of my almost my favorite topics. Creating consistency, putting those systems in place, utilizing the right tools to ensure that really it is an efficient system, that social media is working for you instead of it feeling like a struggle or a fight on a daily basis. So think about what are the tools you're using now. Are you using maybe a TweetDeck or a Hootsuite, which are just third-party management tools that allow you to maybe schedule some of your tweets or your posts. They allow you to also listen, so monitor what's being said about you or your business, your brand. And which tools do you feel most comfortable with? Because that's what it really does boil down to. Not only are do the tools need to be easy and efficient for you, but you need to feel comfortable with them, that you can hop on, whether it's on your laptop, your iPad, your mobile device of any kind. So check out the app, play around with it. 3 of my top favorites are Hootsuite, Sprout Social, which is very similar to Hootsuite, just has a few unique, different I guess, tools built within it that, to me, allow you to listen and manage multiple social profiles all at once. And then Buffer app is one of my absolute favorites. Buffer does not let you interact and engage like Hootsuite and Sprout Social, but what it does extremely well. It actually will come in and take a look at all of your social networks, and it will identify when your fans or your followers are online, and it will figure out what your best times to tweet or post are. So all you have to do is go out and find your content, drop it in there, and it will auto-schedule that at the appropriate time. So it really helps you make the most of all of those tweets and posts, as Jessica was talking about, and not feeling as if you're just randomly throwing content out there, but doing it in a very strategic way. And then, of course, it really does allow you to manage those relationships. So staying connected, listening in on those conversations that are being had about you so you can be proactive in your response, and proactive within your community. An excellent way to utilize these tools is to listen for people talking about buying a home in your area or selling a home. You know, so many people are having conversations with their friends on social media nowadays. In fact, I think the latest stat, and Jessica, you can tell me if I'm accurate on this, is 69% of Facebook users are more apt to buy from a business or a brand if their friend has recommended it. So a pretty powerful statistic when you think about the opportunity of listening to what people are talking about and then being able to respond and give them exactly what they're looking for. So are they saying, you know, we're thinking about buying in this community, but we're making a move, we've never lived there before, and we're really looking for a park that's within walking distance, and you being able to jump in and say, you know, the park is probably a mile away, it might be too far for you, you might consider this area over here. So being able to give guidance, offer your expertise, all of that knowledge you have about your local community is just really, really an important way to utilize social media and be proactive, as I said, but also be interactive and give people the information they are looking for that they might not have even known that they needed at that point. And Jessica, I'll let you jump in real quick because you might have some more stats on that.
Well, you said it perfectly as far as managing relationships. I've gone into companies and they were shocked, on different channels that here there were people giving them high reviews and saying great things about them, and nobody was ever acknowledging them, communicating back, or people may have had questions. And then as I go in and meet with these company owners, they say, oh, wow, this employee was supposed to respond. So it's really making sure on having a system in place for this upcoming year, who will be responding, who will be keeping track, because if someone's out there to take the time to say something positive and wonderful about your company, at least go ahead and respond to them, because as people, again, are going to be researching you, and if they see people are giving you good shout outs and you're not responding, it typically doesn't look very good. So definitely stay connected, be proactive in your approach, and yes, you are correct, Facebook right now holds one of the highest rates for referrals. So if someone was to give you a shout out and say good things about your company on Facebook, people are going to listen, most definitely.
It is the power of a third-party referral. It's just amazing to me, those conversations that are going on a daily basis. I had a friend yesterday who was asking for a dentist in their local area. So it's as simple as that, those little conversations that really do matter to people, and for you to be that person to reach out and respond to them shows them that you're not just using social media to push out your marketing propaganda, so to speak, but you're actually taking the time to get to know people, to understand their needs, and you're truly concerned about giving back to your community. So just another powerful way for you to tap into social media in a real way, instead of feeling as if you're constantly struggling to create those conversations, because there are conversations happening all around you every second of the day. All you have to do is start listening and really hearing what people are trying to say. So let's touch just real quickly on the ROI of social and turning sales into leads, because that's what a lot of it is about, right? Not only being able to find those leads, but converting those leads and being able to pull them into your marketing funnel, being able to create that winning strategy that takes them from a cold lead to a warm, and works them all the way to the point where they are ready to purchase, or maybe they're moving up. They're buying a larger home, they're downsizing. Wherever they are in that buying or selling cycle, you're able to meet them right there. You're able to give them the exact information they're looking for, and you're able to manage that relationship. That is where you're really going to see the return on your investment. It's not only in building those relationships, but it's in the maintenance of those relationships. So whether they're looking to buy or sell within the next 30 days, the next year, you've got those systems and plans in place to effectively stay in front of them. I cannot stress enough how important it is that we stay top of mind these days. People are moving within their lives, and especially online, at such a rapid pace, and most are doing it throughout the day. So if they're running to work, getting the kids to school, they've got 5 minutes in the morning maybe to hop on Facebook. They've got a little bit of time on their lunch break, and then in the evening after dinner is done, family time, the kids are put to bed, they're hopping back on Facebook. So just think about how can you get in front of them, stay in front of them, and give them that information that they're absolutely looking for as they're doing that search within your local area. And how can you give that to them consistently so that, like I said, whether they're looking to buy today or tomorrow or next year, you are there to answer their questions, be a voice of reason, offer your guidance, your support, your empathy, whatever it might be that they're looking for. You just really need to, again, identify where your time is best spent, because they're spending their time there, and then how you can be most effective in your time there. Step 3, optimization. So now how to best leverage those social networks that you're spending your time on. And number one to me is always cross-promotion. So making sure that you're taking content that, let's say, you've got on your website, you've posted to your blog, and turning that into a post on Facebook or a post on Google+, or tweeting that information out onto Twitter, and really making sure that you're using your social networks to support all of your efforts online. I think a big mistake a lot of people make is putting something out there once and then moving on to the next thing. You have to realize that not everybody, especially on Twitter, with how rapidly that feed moves, not everybody is going to catch that tweet that first time. So filter back through that. Make sure you're rotating some of that content on a consistent basis and getting it back in front of a whole new audience. Another way to leverage your social networks, claim your vanity URL. So what does that mean? Well, that looks like, Facebook.com / a big long number that Facebook just automatically gave you, or Google Plus just automatically gave you. Instead, determine, and this goes back to personal branding and the branding of your business, determine how you're marketing yourself. Is it your name? Is it your company name? And then be consistent with that with all of your vanity URLs. It just makes it very easy for people as they're searching for you to come up with all of your online properties at once. I can tell you, in the massive amount of research I do on a daily basis, nothing is more frustrating than that hunt and peck when I have to hunt all over the web to find somebody, whether it's their Twitter handle, whether it's their Facebook page. Make it easy. Be consistent with your vanity URLs. Another idea is to add your social networks to your website and blog, so make sure you've got those icons. Create ads, and we won't really dive into that, but there is so much opportunity with ads these days online to really get your message in front of the exact right people. And then design a personalized look and feel like I talked about, so really making sure that you're consistent from Facebook to YouTube, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, no matter where you are spending your time. So now your next step is going to be, okay, you've built it. Where and how do you get the word out? So you want to build buzz, you want to create excitement, you want to get people enthusiastic about sharing your content. How do you do that? And I'm going to let Jessica talk a little bit about this, because she is super passionate and awesome at really getting people excited about you and your business.
Aw, you are so kind. Well, it's all about communication. It's amazing to me when I sit down with real estate agents, lenders, big firms, and say, okay, so as far as getting the word out, how are you going to share? How are you going to engage a conversation? So for example, would you say, I am going to attend the Chamber of Commerce? Who cares? How about this? Excited to attend the Chamber of Commerce. Who else will be there? Or looking forward to meeting new people at the Chamber of Commerce. Who is someone that you are grateful for lately? It's all about creating that engagement. You're not there shouting out at people, you're engaging conversation. And I know that we're getting ready to run out of time. There's one other thing I just want to go ahead and bring out. Something to keep in mind that I'm noticing a big issue with is when you're looking at your different profiles, think about this, and we'll just use the example of Belize because I'm out here in Belize. So if I'm looking at a website that says, I am a real estate agent out in Belize, I will help you buy or sell your home. I have been doing this for 5 years. Well, who cares? What about this? It is my goal to work with you to find your dream home and come sit on the beach with me and show a picture, and what do you look forward to about the beach? Really making it a conversation.
Well, and I think it goes to the always answering the question, what's in it for me? So before you post, always think about what you're going to post from your consumers' eyes, or what are they going to see, what are they going to hear, what are they perceiving, and what's in it for them to interact or engage with you. So you do definitely have to think that through rather than just putting something out there, but why does it matter to them, and how can I get them excited or involved in that conversation? So we're just getting ready to wrap it up real quick here, and just wanted to briefly touch on our 6 golden rules of social media, building awareness, building loyalty, and really getting people to connect with you on that real level like we talked about at the beginning. So the first golden rule is knowing your market, and that's a simple one. Understanding what the needs of the buyers, the sellers within your area truly are, and being able to give that information, that content to them day in and day out. Give, and give some more. As we all know, social media is all about giving away what you know, so your knowledge, your expertise, and that goes back to that content, figuring out how you can do that on a daily basis. Building relationships, we can't stress enough the importance of reaching out, getting involved, getting in that conversation, and then cultivating those relationships. That's so much of what we've talked about, having that system and strategy in place. Staying consistent. There's nothing worse than starting a Facebook page and then abandoning it and having people land on that page and seeing that you haven't posted there in months. So make sure that whatever it is you decide you want to implement in 2014, you're able to stay consistent. And then reassessing and adjusting. Like I talked about, you really do have to be very agile. You have to be willing to change, and I know that's a tough word for a lot of people, but you do have to be willing to accept not everything is going to work. Not every strategy, not every campaign, not everything you try in social media is going to be received with fanfare. So know that you're going to fail every once in a while, and it's okay. And all you need to do is kind of dust yourself off, pick yourself up, reassess that strategy, adjust how you're going to move forward, but just keep pushing forward. That is really the critical, most important part. So we're going to let you take a little bit of homework. Creating your social media strategy is our goal, obviously, of this hour we've gotten to spend with you today. We want to see you be able to define your goals, so determine exactly what you're looking to get out of social media, what your objectives are. Do some research. Use Twitter as a research tool. Twitter has an advanced research tool that will allow you to really get a feel for what people are talking about within your areas. So do your research before you get started. And then engage. Just get into the conversation. Overcome whatever fear it is that's holding you back, and know that people are out there. They need the exact information you have right now. So think about what it is that you're going to share, what it is that is valuable to those people within your market, and how can you get that message out. And then finally, we want to give you a gift for sharing your time with us today. If you're ready to really capitalize on social media, as we talked about at the beginning, the big, I would say the big boy on the block still is Facebook. We have put together a free Facebook marketing checklist for you, free to download. There's no opt-in, nothing you need to do except follow this link. So it's just a bit.ly link. Imagine Facebook is the link, and I'll make sure and leave it up here for you for just a second so you can write it down, but feel free to go ahead, download that, get that into your business plan, but it will give you step-by-step instruction on how to actually activate your community on Facebook. So Paul, it sounds like you're back on the line. I'm going to let you take it away and just say thank you for letting us be here.
Thank you both, Jessica and Rebecca. I don't know about everybody else on the call. I'm a note taker, and I filled an entire page, and I've got some things circled and some things a lot of takeaways from today's presentation. A couple of the big ones for me was staying consistent with all of the different platforms, making sure that my color scheme, I mean, even things as small as the color scheme of my background images, to great things or things of great importance like my About Me section being similar. I love what Jessica said about my About Me section isn't necessarily about me. make it about who it is that's reading it. That's another big takeaway for me. I thought that was a really cool thing. To always think about when I'm putting a post out there or when I'm asking for a response or in an About Me section, what's in it for the person that's reading it. That was huge to me. I love what you said, Rebecca, about when you're thinking about managing your social media, it's as much about listening, if not more about listening, than actual, than spreading my message myself. And that made a lot of sense to me, because you can pick up a lot of things when you're just listening to what's happening and engaging from what you hear versus trying to force the engagement by creating your own. Does that make sense how I said that?
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
love that. There really, everybody stayed very engaged. There are a couple of questions that came up that I just wasn't able to know the answer to, so I tagged them and marked them, if it's okay with you guys. The main question that came up from several people was the question of how do you find out when your audience is on? Let's say Facebook, for instance. Like, how do you know when your audience is there?
That's a great question, and my favorite tool is Likealizer. So that's Likealyzer. If you Google Likealizer, it should come up. And you can plug in your Facebook page, and you can go ahead and discover when your friends or fans are typically on there, so that then you know when to post.
Okay.
And I'll take that for Twitter. My favorite is Follower Wonk. It's all one word, so Follower Wonk. I know, it's pretty funny. It's F as in Frank, OLLOWER, Wonk, WONK. And it will analyze, and it actually syncs with tools like Buffer Apps. So you can tell it you want to post maybe 3 times a day or tweet out 3 times a day. It will sync those best times to tweet to your Buffer account, so you don't even have to think about what those times are. And then if you are on Google+, Circle Count is one of the absolute best tools out there. Circle Count will give you a ridiculous amount of data just in terms of your posts, how many people it's reaching, and your best times to post as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Where was the other one? The other question that came up, you had, and this came up from several people all at the same time when you were covering the top 5 social sites. I think Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google+, and obviously the big boy Facebook. A couple of people are asking, what are your thoughts on Pinterest, and where does Pinterest lie in that number? Is that like a close number 6 in the group of 5?
Well, I'm happy to take that because I'm an enormous fan and have trained a lot on Pinterest. Pinterest is actually the top referrer. It has overtaken Twitter as far as referring traffic to your website. So in my opinion, it really would be in that top 5 for me. However, I know it's still really new as far as social sites, and people are really still trying to understand the value. But for real estate and mortgage professionals alike, the value is in getting local with your content. So your boards over on Pinterest are just buckets of content. They're similar categories, and you could build those out with fun things to do in your area, free things to do, free sites to see, top parks within your community. So just really customizing that to your communities, your neighborhood, your city, your state, but giving people that are searching for Los Angeles or Los Angeles, California, or things to do when I'm in LA. My goodness, when I Google that, there is just so much that comes up. And Pinterest is now one of those top at the top of a Google search. So it's really important, in my opinion. The reason we didn't include it is simply because, like I said, it's definitely newer. A lot of people are still struggling to understand what the value is. But, you know, if you're already comfortable with the top 5 that we talked about, then I would not hesitate in getting on board and figuring out how to best use it. But from a local perspective, that, in my opinion, is the best opportunity.
Love it. Guys, girls, thank you so much. And Rebecca, Jessica, thank you, ladies, very much. And Jessica, taking time out of your vacation, go hit the zip lines now and enjoy yourself. I appreciate you so much for being on here. I know a lot of you are here and staying overtime. We went a little bit longer than we typically do, so thank you for sticking around. I'm getting an influx of people asking, how can I get a copy of the recording? How can I get a copy of the recording? All you have to do, contact the loan professional who invited you today. They'll be able to get you access to the recording. Most of them have taken notes on the sites and can talk to you about some of the things. We do a lot of social media here, so definitely contact the loan professional if you'd like to watch this yet again. Jessica and Rebecca, if you could, Rebecca, real quick, just before I close up, if you could put that bit.ly link back up there where they can get access to that. There you go. Perfect. Just make sure you check that out if you are going to go in the Facebook direction. I'll tell you, I liked a lot of what you talked about with the Google+. I'm also, like Rebecca was saying, I'm seeing some of the results with the Google+ postings and things like that as well. Same with YouTube. So all of the social media sites have their place. It's just a matter of your comfort level, it sounds like to me, and making sure that you're consistent throughout all the platforms. Ladies, again, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody who joined us today. If you'd like a copy, contact the loan professional, and we will see you right back here, same time, same place next week. Have a great week, everybody. See you on the next time.
Thank you.